us see who will join us this evening. Good evening.
Good evening to all. Of course, right now we have a 0 showing, so no one's watching us yet.
That's fine. We're early.
Yes, we are early.
We couldn't contain our excitement.
Where's the comment section to show up?
It's literally right there. I'm already in it. So, haha, I was ahead of you.
Ooh, ee, ooh, ting, tang, walla, walla, bing, bang. Ooh, ee, ooh, ting, tang, walla, walla, bang, bang.
This is what this night is going to be like.
Well, if nothing else, we will entertain ourselves.
That is for sure. There's one thing that we both possess, and that is the ability to talk. And talk. And talk. And talk and
yes,
talk and talk.
This is definitely true. This is definitely true. We can speak. Now we are live, and someone has joined us.
Hello.
Hello out there. And we have another one on there. So
excellent.
Yes.
So
we arrived before you did. I guess that's a good thing.
That is a good thing. It's nice when we're the first ones to show up at our own show.
I suppose so, isn't it? So we are Lord Fafnir and Spawn. I think you can guess who I am. I'm the Spawn, right?
Yep, no. Absolutely, yes. Hello, I am Lord Fafnir, and this is Spawn. Hi, Mischief Managed.
Yes, you know who we are. So yes, we're going to have some fun this evening. Hopefully, this is kind of a Q&A, question and answer session. As hopefully people who are watching this, we are a pair of psychic readers. We do some things which are similar, and we do some things which are very, very different.
Hello, Ethan and Shadow.
Hello, and Shadow says hello too.
Yes.
Excellent. So yes, as opposed to other sessions that we have done, where we've done some readings, live readings, and that this is not going to be one of those things. This is a time for you to ask your questions of us, about the, how we got into this, the types of things that we do, what we do. If you are someone who actually is a psychic reader or a budding psychic reader, would like to ask some questions of how one does certain things. Again, this is kind of a free for all. So ask away, and until then, we will just keep talking.
That's for sure. We're good at that.
We are very good at that. Actually, why don't you give a little cursory thing about the type of stuff that you do?
About what I do?
Yes.
So we both do some things together, and we also have some different skills. So we both do tarot cards. We both do past life regressions. But energy work, Reiki, things like that, that is all my wheelhouse. Also, for specific types of readings, people have said that I am the one to go to for things like health and finance and all that fun stuff.
Mm-hmm. Well, you are the empath. Health is definitely in your wheelhouse.
That's true. Natural born empath. That is where I come from. My craft. I feel things, and I definitely have a penchant for more healing magic type stuff.
Mm-hmm. And I definitely come at it more of the left brain side. It's one of those things that where I'm a very logical person. I actually have been an environmental engineer for over 35 years. And so I started from that. And as I've been slowly learning how to be a reader over the course of the last 25 years, I've learned how to basically work with both of my right and my left. So I'm a natural born numerologist. That's actually one of my key things. As far as the cards, surprisingly, this was a surprise to me anyway, I've become very adept at doing relationship readings. You think that someone that was more of an empath would be able to do that, but no, that's actually, of the two of us, I'm definitely the one who goes along with that one. I do palm readings as well. I'm very familiar with oracle cards. Yeah, that's a palm. Thank you.
This is your palm. These are your fingers.
Oh, good grief. I also do what's called cartomancy, in that I read from a regular deck of playing cards. Any questions at all? Thank you.
Yes, darling. Oh, good.
Thank you. Thank you, Matt, for the question of any questions at all.
Yeah. Goodness gracious, my partner's joined. This is going to be interesting, isn't it?
Well, we will see how that is.
Ooh, we've got a bite.
We have a question.
Let's look here.
Do you find being more logically based helps you with being straightforward with your readings? Help cut the bullshit.
Well, that is clearly addressed to you, my good lord.
Yeah, I'll put it this way. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I don't sugarcoat. Well, actually, to tell you the truth, neither one of us do.
No.
We definitely know readers that have a tendency of not saying the bad stuff for fear of, like, I guess, like scaring off customers or something like that, or the clients. I tell people up front, I basically say, I don't sugarcoat. I will say, if things look sunshine and roses, I will say it. If it's a pile of horse manure, I will say that too. And so as long as they know, like I said, tell them up front, this is what you're going to get. And I'm very blunt. And to tell you the truth, the majority of clients I deal with, they appreciate the bluntness. Because they want to know, and if things are not going so well, they would rather be told about that. In some cases, they already kind of know anyway, but they want to have honest answers. And so I would say, I mean, is the logic based upon that? I mean, possibly, but I would definitely say. I would say definitely it helps, as you say, helps cutting through the bullshit. I don't do that at all. So.
Oh my goodness.
Oh boy. Do you want to put that one up there?
My darling, darling human, you are special, and I love you. And I mean, if we're gonna go down this road, I'm just gonna simply go with no.
I was going to say, hopefully we weren't going to go straight down the road of politics tonight.
But, yeah. But we're just gonna go with it.
Well, actually, I would basically say this.
It's very interesting the way politics can change readings.
Yes, this is definitely true. I don't know how many times in my life we've had situations in this country where the president or Congress or whatever. Times have been really, really crappy, and I'm very much a studier of history, and I would say, at least as far as this country's concerned, I say, well, you know what, we've been through worse before, and we've somehow survived that, and I like to keep thinking that somehow we're going to get through this, and we'll come through because, well, have we been through worse before? Some respects, I would say, yeah. Others, I would probably kind of go, maybe not. So. That's as political as I'm going to try to get tonight.
Yeah.
Because that's not the point of this.
No, so, it's still pretty early. So while we wait for some more folk to join us, what do we want to chat about? Do you like working with me?
Oh, you're a peach. Actually,
Ooh, this is a fun one. Thank you, Ethan. So I think we can both tackle this because we actually
case studies. We've been through this before.
We both have had some very interesting people over the course of time. So
your story actually takes the cake, though.
Thank you. So my story of this is this person led me to develop something I call the asshole surcharge. This is an adult stream, and I'm going to swear. So, so there was a guy at what was it? The first year that we were at Mass Ren Fair, I believe.
Is that what?
I think it was Mass Ren Fair. So there was a dude that was at Mass Ren Fair who came up to me and said, "I believe everything that you believe and everything that you do is bullshit. Now read me." That is what he said to me. And I looked at him and I went, "Okay, the price of your reading just went up $30. He paid it, and it was actually like one of the best readings I've ever done, potentially out of spite.
Potentially. I mean, I've had people that have basically say no. I'll say something, they'll go no. Now, I've also prefaced in the beginning of my readings, I will basically tell people, I say, look, I'm not spewing the gospel according to any religious text here. I'm a human, which means that I can also misinterpret and make mistakes. So I tell people, I say that if I start saying things and I'm going way off the rails and I'm saying things which make absolutely no sense, I say, call bullshit on me, rein me back in. And I think that's happened like once or twice in all the years I've done this. But I still throw that out there because after all, but I've had a few people that basically, especially because I say probably the most popular thing which I get is relationship readings. And sometimes people want me to tell them what they want to hear. And sometimes when I don't tell them what they want to hear,
they don't get upset.
They don't like it, and they get upset, and they'll kind of go, "Well, I don't like that." And ultimately, I say, "You have the free will to reject what I'm saying," because that's part of the whole process anyway. I will tell people at the end of readings, I'll say, "Look, free will is one part of this thing." After all, when we talk about a future projection in any kind of reading, it's a projection only. You have the free will to make sure that that projection never ever happens, or you can do things that will try to make it happen. That's totally up to you.
Gosh, aren't you so good at being poignant? So now we've got some silly things coming.
Yes.
So first, from my darling, you actually eat an avocado every day, don't you?
Not every day, but avocado pits are different size based on the avocado. Some are very large and some are very small. So I don't know.
And then one for the Lord specifically.
We'll get back to you on that one.
Oh, but wait.
I miss you too, Jesse.
Yes, we miss you very much. We miss all of our fair folk, all of the people that we would have seen at shows this year.
Yes, thinking of all the fairs that have been canceled and will continue to be canceled, like last weekend would have been the Vermont Renaissance Fair. Yes. Yes, and we had just gotten approved to go for the first time at Sparta in New Jersey this year. That would have been in September, and as of yesterday, they canceled. Again, not surprising, because after all, we heard today that King Richard's canceled. And if King Richard's canceled, you know what that means.
Mm-hmm.
And Tuxedo, New York, one of the biggest in New York, they scrapped it. I've heard like I think right now there's only like 4 or 5 Renaissance fairs in the entire country which are still officially scheduled to open at this point.
I think so.
So it's really ridiculous. But
here's another one for you.
No, it doesn't.
I mean, it totally affects let's get real, sex sells.
Mm.
So it totally helps in that way.
At times.
Well, I mean, you've got a core thief over there who's totally in love with you, so clearly something's working. All right. No. And that's sort of part of the job, is to be able to do, because there are psychics that only deal in the positive, and I don't like that as a philosophy, because life is not all positive. I've predicted somebody's death, like the person I was reading. I predicted their death 6 months from the point that I was reading them, and I told them that was not something I kept to myself. So, there are some questions that people ask that make me uncomfortable, but I will do my best to answer them anyway, as best as I can. What about you?
I would say, has there ever been anything where I didn't feel comfortable? Yeah, there's been more than one time. Has that stopped me? No. Because again, it's not about me. It's about them. The information which I basically process and give to them. Be perfectly honest, the majority of readings I've done, I have to purge that to get to talk to the next person. So there are only a handful of readings, our case study, or our stories. Some things are memorable for certain reasons, but the vast majority of things I don't retain that information for very long, as I can't, because I have to basically purge myself so I can read somebody else, and I don't want the essence of someone's energy bleeding into the next person's reading. But yeah, I mean, there have been times where I haven't felt the most comfortable about telling someone, especially when I know that I can tell that there's something they really don't want to hear. But what has been positive, I think, is that when I actually tell them that bit, then I can tell, then I can see their initial kind of a shock, and they kind of go, I've been kind of thinking that anyway. So I'm like, going again, it's really more of an affirmation of, they kind of already sometimes know the negative aspect, and they just need to have it confirmed more than anything else. We're gonna go on to what do we have here? Does Jesse have a real question this time?
It looks like it. How about that? What was the most emotional reading you gave, and have you ever heard back from them to see how things worked out? Wow, that is a tough question because, I mean, I don't know how you deal with your readings emotionally, but for me, I take everything in that I do, and that sometimes makes doing fair days very, very difficult because it's very rapid fire and you're just going and going and going and going in person and person and person. And, you know, we very rarely have breaks. Our breaks consist of us performing on stage, you know, things like that. But for me, I think the most emotional reading I gave was actually a series of readings. I was working an event the day that, gonna get slightly political, Brett Kavanaugh was confirmed to the Supreme Court. I was working in Salem that day, and for not just me, every psychic that was there, we just got victim after victim after victim after victim that they just wanted somebody to talk to. Like, they didn't even necessarily want a reading, they just wanted somebody to hear them. And after a couple of hours of this, we actually, 4 of us had a slump, like, you know, a slump in our reading, so we were able to actually go outside and sit in a circle and cry for a few minutes because it was really, really, really hard.
I would probably say, I mean, I actually can remember a couple of emotional readings, very emotional. And neither one of these were at a Renaissance fair. One of them was a Vermont. It was the Valentine's Vermont thing, the Trumpster I read.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. It was a gentleman who actually got nicknamed the asshole who was waiting to see us. Like when was sort of the story of I think everything you do is bullshit, now read me. I kind of got someone like that. Guy was actually like wearing a Make America Great Again hat, so to speak. And so he basically came in with all the airs of that. But believe it or not, once we got going, because all I basically said, I said to him, just keep an open mind, nothing else. He had never had a reading before. By the time we were done, he was in tears. And he was so thankful for what I told him. He shook my hand so hard, he damn near broke my fingers.
He broke your ring.
He broke my ring, actually. He bent my ring on my fingers. It was one of my metal rings. The guy, apparently, he was ex-military. He was ex-special ops. And he was still playing the guise of, being that, rah-rah, tough America, saviors of the world, blah, 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 because that's what he was trained for. But he told me that he had gone over to the Middle East multiple times, and his missions were to basically go on night raids and murder people. And now that he had come back, he was retired from that position. He wasn't going anymore, but he was getting nightmares of what he believed to be a ghost of an innocent that he had killed, and he couldn't forgive himself. And the reading really got all revolved around that. And I basically said, because he said, I need some out of this, and I just drew, as he finally was telling me the story, and this story evolved slowly. I had him for like half an hour. At the very end, I gave him a final card, and one of the cards actually, it literally showed that the picture was of 2 men, one on the earth and one on a cloud in the sky, and the guy in the sky was holding out his hand in forgiveness, and the guy was just like, that was when he lost it. So. Every now and then we have these stories of you feel you really can change someone's life for the positive.
So sometimes we hear back from people, but most of the time we do not. The people that we hear back from tend to be people that go to the fairs that we go to, so we see them again next year. Let's see. I don't know what this means. I do like the follow-up that went with that.
Finger readings.
I'm going to assume that was a typo, dear. But yeah, I've definitely done readings that have scared me, especially the past life readings that I do. There are some of those that when I'm under and doing what it is that I do, I can see, hear, sometimes experience really, really weird and scary things.
Yeah, I can't say I've ever been scared. I've been some which actually have moved me to tears, um, but I can't say I've ever had one which actually has scared me, so to speak.
The process of past life readings.
Yeah, you tell them about that one because actually you taught me this method, which I think is a pretty cool method.
So I don't do it in a normal way.
What's normal, by the way?
I mean,
There really isn't, but go ahead.
there isn't, but the standard way I feel it asks the person being read to act as more of the spiritual conduit, which I don't think is necessarily a good idea because, you know, I'm the psychic one. I'm like, I should be the one that's doing the work. I'm more of the conduit than the person across the table from me usually. Um, so the process for me is I actually use the cards to help me out and speed things up. I ask whoever I am reading to pick a number between 1 and 13. And that number means something. And I will draw that amount of cards in 2 rows. So you pick 4, you get 2 rows of 4. The row closest to you is you now. The row closest to me is the past life that's trying to talk to you. This is the short version that I do for fairs. I've got like 2 versions where one is longer and like we can look at multiple of your lives and do that, but like the short version that I do is typically the past life that has something to say to you, something that is relevant to your life
like a deja vu
right
moment.
now. Because, you know, we're constantly trying to learn from our pasts, but unconsciously because we don't get to remember what we did before. And so we're sort of flying blind here. So I touch those cards and I allow myself to enter the channel and sort of, I'm not even sure what happens when I'm in there, to be honest, but
I call it the clairvoyant trance because that's what I call it when I go in there.
Yeah, because anything can happen. There was most of the time I either see flashes of things like a year, a name, a tree, like, or sometimes I am a voyeur in a thing that is happening. Usually when that happens, it is somebody's past trying to take them to where they are buried because they are still not quite at rest. And then there were a couple of times where I actually experienced some things like falling off a cliff. That was fun. It was not fun, actually. So yeah, that's sort of a bit of the process there.
Yeah, I would say, you know, when I do it, when I would go in that zone. It's to me, it's like I'm watching a movie, and I see scenes, and I will just tell the person what I'm seeing because it doesn't make any sense to me, but it's not supposed to make sense to me. It's supposed to hopefully make sense to them and relevance to them. And more than one time, I'll basically say, "Oh, I'm seeing this scene and describing this process, what this person's doing," and I'll hear on the other end, "Oh my God, is that why I like to do such and such?" And it's just kind of like going, "Yeah," I'm just like, well, that's why with stuff like this is that
my favorite one was, "Is that why I'm getting stabbed by my girlfriends in this life?" that was a fun connection that was made there.
Yeah.
Let's see here.
Not sure if that totally answers the question, but what we got here?
Oh, absolutely. Oh, absolutely.
I'm a lot better doing that than you.
That's for sure.
Yes, because
he is a natural shield. I am not even close.
Empath, and yeah, I have very heavy internal body armor, so I literally have to lower my shields to actually be really successful at a lot of these readings. Now, things like numerology, palm readings, that's mostly left brain, so I can do that with my shields up. It works perfectly fine. I want to go right brain, I got to drop something. But so yeah, for me, it's very, very easy to get rid of someone else's energy. You, on the other hand, yeah, you need to shield more.
Yes. So I typically wear a lot of stones when I'm doing readings. I've got a lot of shield stone. Like I wear a lot of hematite. And that helps some, but there are still things that just, I feel everything. I am an emotional sponge, and it stays with me. So there have been events where I've done so much and I've been so overwhelmed at the end of the day that I just gotta go like cry for a few minutes. And it's not even that I'm upset. It's just that's me finally being able to disperse it in some way.
Mm-hmm.
And so I definitely have to get better at that.
Yes.
That's a thing I'm working on.
What's the worst place?
Huh.
Location/event to do readings.
I mean, I probably have a different opinion on that than you do.
Well, if you're talking about the worst locations that the two of us have done versus an overall, what's the generic worst location?
I personally do not enjoy psychic fairs, says
Bingo.
the psychic.
Yeah, well, yeah. I actually, to tell you the truth, I mean, when we both got, well, me especially, trying to get my professional feet wet when we became an official business, I did a crap ton of psychic fairs. Now I do very few. Sometimes the fairs are really good. Sometimes they're run very poorly, and usually it's you have the energy of the organizer really predominates any psychic fair. So if you're with someone who really is really good at what they're doing, then you're fine. We've worked with a lot. Like I said, I work with more than you have. The thing is, I've seen my share of really good leaders and really lousy ones. And the lousy ones you figure out very, very quickly. And they kind of fall by the wayside because you realize that, I mean, I hate to say it, but sometimes people are looking at this purely from a capitalistic perspective. They're in for the money. And when that happens, is that really kind of destroys the energy. And you can tell by the people who are there. Sometimes you'll get people that they're just locked into that specific person, that's their friend and blah blah blah, so they'll do anything that they do. Other people are like, well, they're not sure, they're getting their feet where they've never done a fair like this before, so they try it out, and afterwards you kind of go,
those people usually get taken advantage of,
you never see them again. They just don't come back.
Mm-hmm.
I would say one of the most difficult places to work is Salem, Salem, Mass, in October. Not that it's run poorly. I think it's actually it's.
But it's not for everyone.
It's right. It's run. They have a very good oiled machine, but it's not for everyone. Some psychics get destroyed there. Others do extremely well. And it's one of those things that where, I hate to say it, but shielding really matters a lot. The fact of the people.
Salem chewed me up and spit me out.
Salem did a number on you.
He does very, very well at Salem. I gave it a shot. I did a season there. I survived, and that's about it.
And because there's the sheer volume of people, you literally get everybody.
Mm-hmm.
You get the type of people from the you're an asshole, you're a loser, to the, oh my God,
let me worship the ground.
Let me worship you. Exactly. It's like it's all over the place. Now, fortunately, the extremes on both ends are minor. But the thing is, every year, I remember this last fall. As I work when I go and do shifts, I'm with probably 8 or 9 other readers. And one of the mornings we were getting set up, one of the readers came in and she goes, "Yes, I got my first death threat of the season."
Yay!
And yeah, we all get our fans and our stalkers. It's definitely it's a very interesting crowd.
Yeah.
So
I also, outside of psychic fairs, there are just places in New England that are just more difficult to work because it's a much more conservative market. At least once at every show, one of us gets called a devil worshiper, and that always makes me laugh because you paid to get into this event, especially for some of the Harry Potter events that we've done in the past. You had to prepay to get into this event. And it's like, if you're gonna show up and start calling people devil worshippers at a thing about wizards, maybe you are in the wrong place.
And of course, one of the funniest things is the fact of we're pagans. We don't believe in the devil. At least not the Christian version of the devil.
Nope.
I love the story of what happened at Hammond Castle
Oh my God.
with that woman who basically wouldn't let her kids come in.
Okay, speaking of,
oh yes, Allison, we actually were supposed to do a psychic fair that I was helping to organize this year, but thanks to COVID-19, it got scrapped. So, but
we'll pick it up again when we can.
We'll do it. I mean, I'm pretty sure they're gonna do it next year. But yeah, Hammond Castle used to have a whole series of psychic fairs way back, like 10 years ago, and he used to have a Renaissance fair too until that kind of fell apart. But the new management there, they're trying to do more and more things. So so yeah, we're going to be at the Hammond Castle. Well, once we get over COVID, of course, we're going to be at the Hammond Castle more often than we've been in the past, which is a nice thing because that's a really, really nice place to go to. It's a great venue. So,
hi, Mindy.
Oh, hello, Mindy. Can't wait for my first devil worship comment.
Oh yes, we're devil worshippers. Yes.
I was going to say the devils are going to war here. Yes, Mindy is actually is another reader. She actually was also projected to come with us to go to Hammond Castle. We're hoping actually at some point as we do these live streams to get Mindy on here because she's someone who does rune readings, and she does what's that
Hey Mindy, he can't figure out what words are. Want to comment?
I am forgetting the word of the pendulum readings. There we go. Couldn't think of the bloody word pendulum. So yeah, I mean we're planning to do a series of these kind of chats over the summer months and into fall probably too, where we get other psychics to come on as guests and talk about the various things that they do. And because everybody has a story. And even people who actually have the same basic quote skill set, like almost everyone of us professional readers, we all do tarot cards. We all have a different wavelength. We all have a different deck or decks. As I say to a lot of our clients, and you do too, is that we believe in the Harry Potter philosophy. The wand chooses the wizard, Mr. Potter.
There we go. That's what Mindy does.
Ah, yes. Thank you, Mindy. Yes, Mindy and I both do palm readings very differently. And that's part of the, and I would say that neither one of us is quote wrong.
No.
Because it's just it's a different philosophy. And different interpretations. She will see things differently than I will. And the fact of her strengths and my strengths are very different. So the thing is, I'll focus on certain areas of which my eyes and my clairvoyance go to, and hers will do the same thing, but there'll be different things. So the idea is that you're not going to get, if you would see some person doing a tarot reading and get a tarot reading again from another person, you're not going to get like drastically two different sets of information. You're going to essentially get the same overall concept, but from two different perspectives.
Mm-hmm.
But at a psychic fair, where sometimes people come and look at multiple readings, if I'm one of the people that I'm reading the person, I will always say, hey, don't get three different people giving you tarot cards. Do three different things. Get a tarot, get a palm, get an oracle. Three varieties. That way, again, you'll probably get something which is very similar, but you have three different styles.
Exactly.
Going on there. So
we're going to take this moment to do a shameless plug, because since we've moved online, we've developed a few new things. So we are on YouTube now. This is not only streaming to our Facebook page, but also to our YouTube channel. So find us under Lord Fafnir and Spawn Psychic Readers on YouTube. You can also find us at our lovely website there. And you are all watching this currently on our Facebook page, I think. And we also have an Instagram at Fafnir and Spawn. So you can check out our daily draws there, which we also share to Facebook. But we do daily draws. So yay, commercials.
Mm-hmm.
So we don't have any new questions at present.
Oh, really? No new questions.
Any more questions out there? Or like, I mean, we can start. Oh, woo! Hey, babe. Okay, so I totally have one for that because it wasn't a reading at all. This woman came into the tent at a fair, paid me, sat down, ranted at me for 10 minutes, got up and left. No cut, like she just vented for. She paid me for a reading, vented and left, and I was just kind of like, okay. What about you?
You know, I would probably say this was at Mass Ren Fair. On that one, on the Saturday nights, they have an adult night. So we 1 year, actually more than 1 year, we offered adult readings. And I have a specific relationship deck, which I use anyway, which is called the Tarot of Sexual Magic. And so it's an R-rated deck. And some of the cards are rather physical and rather graphic. It's not porn, but it's definitely R-rated. But one time we were there, I was offering anyway, essentially dirty, comical, but very dirty sexual-based readings. And we got a young 20-something and a bunch of her friends who came in because I think
yes.
it was her birthday or something like that.
You remember this was like the night after we met.
And she just basically, it's like her friends like bought her a dirty reading, and she's like, okay, give me the dirtiest, the most disgusting thing you could come up with. And I'm like, okay. And I start putting the cards out there, and lo and behold, she's not getting any of the physical cards. She's getting all of the nice cards. She's got all the emotional cards and the relationship cards. Meanwhile, she's telling me her story of all the physical, sexual, depraved acts that she's done with her and multiple others over the last 3 or 4 years. And I'm kind of going, and I'm listening to this. I'm kind of going, the cards are fighting us here. And ultimately, after like 15 minutes I almost put like half the damn deck down in cards. I kind of went, okay, this was supposed to be a comical thing for you. There's a serious message for you, and I got to tell you what it is. And that was that. Both of us, we could cut this, this WTF moment. It's like going, this is not what it was supposed to be. But I'll be damned, the cards were kind of in control here. So I kind of went, all right, this is what you want to know. And after she kind of calmed down, she kind of goes, wow, that's kind of very poignant,
isn't it?
Isn't it?
Aren't we?
I kind of went, sorry to be a downer for your birthday. She goes, no, that's okay.
With me.
But so I guess that would probably be my WTF moment.
I mean, I've had a few WTF moments. Mostly just from like an age perspective where like I've read young teenagers, 13, 14, that are like wanting to lose their virginity, and the cards are just like, nope, 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 nope. And they're sitting there going, but I love him. So I now have to be the adult and be like, no, you don't. And even if you do, don't do the thing. And it's, when did I become the adult? I used to be the one making these mistakes. How many otherworldly entities do you do readings for on average? On average, 0. Mostly because the people we read for tend to not go deep like that. And entities that I do work with, I tend to keep for like my own private spiritual practices. I have been asked to do some on occasion, like, for you. But on the whole, I haven't been really asked to do that many because most people don't. That doesn't even register.
No, it really doesn't. I've been asked to cast spells for other people.
Mm-hmm.
I've said no, but I've been asked. Or like they say, can you cast this spell? I kind of go, yes, I can.
Yes, I can, but I won't.
I'm not going to, but I can. It's like, well, why not? I go, well, because first of all, it's none of my damn business to do this. And also, it's like, be very careful what you put out there, because it will come. You can't
take it back.
And you can't take it back, and it will come back, and not in a way that you think. Yeah, you're the adult, question mark.
Sometimes, apparently. Not in, I mean...
Well, I'll put it this way. When you're reading a bunch of horny teenage girls, yes, she's the adult.
Yes, suddenly I'm the adult.
Oh.
I've never been asked to like read an inanimate object, but I have been asked about certain inanimate objects that belonged to people that have passed, and like, you know, they still feel like the past person is connected with the object. So they're like, will this object help me connect with them? And I mean, it's all very situation dependent. Like sometimes yes, sometimes no. I did get asked to read a service dog, and that was really, really interesting, actually. Honey.
I would say I've actually not been asked to read inanimate objects, but I would say I have been asked to read pictures of other people, though.
That's an inanimate object.
Well, but there's a person in the picture.
But the picture is an inanimate object.
Bit of a stretch, don't you think? No. What's the next one here?
Ooh. Well, you know you're gonna get a new job, and I will. We're gonna talk when I'm off this. I love you so much.
Don't sweat it. It's coming. Just be patient. I know it's hard.
You ever done a reading for someone without them knowing? If so, have you casually tried? So actually,
good question.
So here's a fun story. People try to get us to do readings for people that aren't there all the time. And most of the time, I refuse because it's not going to be an accurate representation. It's going to be a representation of who the person that I'm actually reading thinks that other person is, you know? Because the only person that really knows the only person that really knows who you are is you. And so, like, I had a woman last year that was really, really struggling to accept her trans child's identity after they had come out. And so she was trying to, like, get me to do a reading to see if, like, they were actually trans or if this was just a phase. And I basically went, I'm not going to do that because you need to have a reading about just accepting your child. Like, you don't have to understand it. You just have to accept that it is. It's a thing. So leave them be.
Mm-hmm.
Lottery numbers. It's not funny anymore. Oh my God.
Oh, I will tell this story though. I can't remember. I think this was in Salem. Mindy, I think you maybe, I can't remember if you were there or not for this or not. But someone did ask me just a bunch of numbers, or said, just, you know, give me a bunch of numbers, and it was for the lottery, and I didn't know it, so I just literally just rambled off. Someone said, give me 7 numbers, and so I did. Now that person actually didn't do anything with them, so I found out later on, but they marked them down. Turns out a couple of days later, those of whatever I don't even know what lottery the hell it is, but the thing is, the one who has 7 numbers, apparently 6 of my numbers were correct.
Hey!
And it would have won, if someone had played those numbers, it would have won them like $1.5 million.
Hey!
And so they came back to me, kind of went, you know, you did it. And I kind of went, the only reason I did that was because I didn't know what the hell I was doing. If you literally asked me the questions for what are the good lottery numbers, I would have basically given you numbers, which would have been bullshit. So,
and then there's the, what am I thinking right now? I don't know. I'm a psychic, not a mind reader.
Yeah, okay, that's a great one. One of my worst readings of all time had an elderly woman. From my point of view, they are the hardest to read. The ones who are like late 60s and older women.
Yep.
I literally had a woman at Salem one time come and sit down, and she goes, "My guardian angels have a message for me. I want you to tell me what it is."
Oh my God, did she yell it at you like that?
Yeah, I was going like that. I like looked at her and I said, "Lady, how the hell should I know?"
Sorry, that was good.
That was my response. I'm like going. I'm sorry. I'm not an owl. Doesn't work like that.
What, like the two of us? Not for me. I mean, I feel like over the course of time, I've become slightly more tactful, but
tactful than you were before.
Yes, but I still don't pull any punches. I mean, I learned from him, so the core of my style comes from him. And honestly, there are still things that I learn from him. Like every time I happen to hear him doing a reading, I pick up on something and I'm like, oh, let me just incorporate that into my, and off I go. But I have never disagreed with how he handled a reading, except for just sort of the conversations we had about palm reading and like asking consent before touch. Like we had to have a whole conversation about that.
Yes.
Yes.
And now I adopt that into how I do palm readings.
Yeah, that was the one thing where I was like, you should ask consent before you actually touch the people.
Of course, it's virtually impossible to do a palm reading without touching them.
Right, but just that, just the courtesy of asking.
Yeah, it is a courtesy. That's like you told me that about 2 years ago, and I've adopted that ever since. And actually, it's surprising how many people have actually appreciated me even asking, because then I'll say, of course, it's like I really can't do it without touching the palm. They go, yeah. It's like when we've done these virtual things right now, and we basically say all of our skill sets we can do virtually, with one exception. Palm reading. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Yeah. I mean, obviously, now if someone really did that, I can still catch the major lines and do a cursory reading. But
but it wouldn't nearly.
I'm not going to be able to do anything really in depth, because all I'm seeing is essentially a picture of a palm. So that only gets me so far.
I don't take the risk that consent is implied in anything. Because I mean, it isn't. You don't necessarily have, like, he could literally sit there and just stare at somebody's palm. And in fact, actually, he has a fun little like blunted dagger that he uses as a pointer sometimes for like the finer lines. But it's just one of those things where it's like, hey, we're starting. Can I touch you? It's just
Well, actually,
makes people more comfortable.
The whole point of implied consent here, or complied, implied, whatever. I've actually used this for times where I've done readings that have been requested, which there's no tools, there's no cards, there's nothing. They want a complete intuitive reading, where I'm actually doing clairvoyance, clairaudience, all that stuff. And I'll do it for them, but I basically have to let them know up front what I'm going to do. And I say to them, I'm going to invade your personal space, metaphorically or spiritually. I'm not going to physically go there, but the thing is, I'm going to project my essence into you. Do you allow me? Will you allow me to do that? I'm going to ask that, because I don't want them to feel that I'm going to be doing this kind of a weird thing with them, and because they can. I mean, people who are sensitive to that, they know what the hell I'm doing, and so I'll give them the other side to them, and I say that the fact of I'm a shielded person, I have to drop my shields to do this. And I said, by the way, if you have the power and the gumption to do so, because my shields are down, you can go into me, and you can, go inside the essence of myself. And I gave a reading last year in Salem where I had a young woman who asked for something like that because she was really hurting badly. And I didn't know why specifically, and she wouldn't tell me. But she was also kind of an empathic. And while she wasn't a reader, from a professional point of view, she certainly had the skills to become one if she wanted to train herself. She took me up on my thing. So the thing is, we kind of traded. We kind of almost did like a kind of a weird, kind of a spiritual massage of each other. And afterwards, I looked at her. Was that good for you too, honey? And she like laughed her ass off. She kind of goes, "Wow, that was really intense." I kind of went, "Yeah." I said, it doesn't work like that usually, because both sides have to be completely receptive to that. But yeah, you always want to ask consent about doing something like that, because otherwise you really feel you're invading someone's private space.
Yeah.
It's kind of rude.
I ask for consent when I do my energy work and Reiki stuff too, because I actually like to put my damn hands on people. I know that not everybody does that. I know that some people do the hovering, but I don't. I just want to. There you go.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Oh my God, Mindy.
Ew.
See, when you said essence, I was sitting here going, essence of Gelfling.
You would. Dark Crystal reference for those of you who know that Muppet movie.
Oh my God.
One of my favorites.
Dude, we're in a house of nerds right now. They should know.
Yeah, but that movie's almost 40 years old now, so I mean,
they should know. We're in a house of nerds.
Is it like the House of Usher? We're in the House of Nerds right now.
The stones weep for me.
Oh yes, one of our parties that COVID has canceled. We were going to be doing a labyrinth party,
but it's rescheduled
for next year. So
that's that's nice at least.
So everyone can dress up like like David Bowie and his characters or whatever. So
I am very excited. I don't know what I'm going to do yet, but I'm kind of happy that I have more time to figure it out, because I was actually panicking. Like, I do take a lot of pride in the aesthetic that I put together for events, because I mean, Spawn and Red really are not the same person. Like, Spawn is definitely a part of me, but Spawn is definitely the more extroverted side. And so yeah, I do. I miss being able to play dress up and actually having people see it. I'm still playing dress up, just inside my apartment.
What was that?
Sure, Mindy. Sure. Are you working that one? But yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. It's funny watching Jennifer Connelly now in the new TV show she's in, Snowpiercer, kind of going, yeah. She was the one in the labyrinth trying to get the kid from the Goblin King. Yes, and kind of going, you've come a long way, baby. It's been, oh my God, 35 years since Labyrinth. God, I'm getting old.
So, since nobody else is asking a question right now, let me ask you one.
Me?
Yes.
Okay, fire away.
So, what do you think of how we've sort of progressed over the years? What do you like working with me? Do you have any regrets?
Well, I can answer that question seriously with you standing you're right in front of me. Sometimes you're so cornball and so cheesy. No.
Gee, I wonder where I got
it. Well, certainly not from me.
Absolutely from you.
Moi.
Moi, he says.
I think we've actually made each other grow. I mean, because the fact of we are very, very different people. For those of us who
but also not.
For those of you who actually know us, you know how friggin' different we really are. Yes, we're similar, but we are very different, and that's why I use the example of the whole thing of strengths and weaknesses, and the fact of things that she is the best at and things that I'm the best at, not the same. And that's what actually makes us work together so well, because she can see things that I can't, and vice versa.
That's very true. We are a very good combo in that way.
So actually, when we
do 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 do.
I thought you meant when I saw that. I thought you meant the look at this stuff, isn't it neat?
No. Dude, 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 dude. Are you enjoying just the alto part? That's the mermaid song with just the alto. You're welcome.
Oh my God. We do have too much fun doing this, don't we?
I don't think it's too much, no. I mean, it's part of why I like us. And that's part of why I don't really fit in at psychic fairs, is because we can't do this kind of crap at psychic fairs.
Actually, at some psychic fairs you can. Others, it's just like everybody's all very serious, or as I refer to it as there
They
are
believe their own hype.
there are some psychics who out there who believe their own press clippings, think they're all that, or as I refer to it, there's some that are all that, oh, love and light and angels and all this and that and there. And frankly, for there and that actually works for some clients,
But not us.
That's exactly what they need. And honestly, if you're in a good psychic fair, you want someone like that there. You also want people like us there to give that the whole concept of a variety. Some of the best psychic fairs I work have people that attract a decent amount of clientele, and others despise them because the energy is just so different. And some people are drawn moths to this flame. Others, it's like fire and oil. It's just effective. No, get them away from each other.
Well, it's because it's very interesting because there have been, oh my goodness, yes, you're the one that started it all, aren't you, Karen? I miss
Yes, you were one of the original customers. I gave a lot of sample readings to you over the years, didn't I, Karen?
Oh, beach house memories.
Oh my God, long time ago now, wasn't it?
But yeah, no, because going back slightly to the psychic fair stuff, there have been some psychics that have tried to make it at fairs while we have also been there because they've sort of seen our success at fairs and they've wanted to try it for themselves. However, they can't hack it because it's a much different environment from most psychic fairs. Like, one of the things I love about fairs is being able to play with my customers, being able to go out of my tent and do the come in and play with them. And you can't really do that at a lot of psychic fairs. At a lot of psychic fairs, it's kind of like a psychic corral.
In a lot of ways. I mean, at a Renaissance fair, to be perfectly blunt, we are playing characters as well as being people. And the thing is, we know how to flip the switch. So the thing is that I can be Lord Fafnir, and she could be the spawn of Fafnir at a moment's notice.
Are you bothering the people?
And then just turn it off just like that, and then get totally serious and down to business for a reading. And people at Ren fairs, they totally get into this, and they understand it. And the fact of, okay, because the whole idea of when you do readings, that some people are there because they're curious. Some people are there because they want to be entertained. Some people are there because they really have a serious question, or they're really hurting and need a resolution. And you have to know how to deal with all types at a moment's notice. You don't get that at a psychic fair. And that's why a lot of the psychics at psychic fairs, you put them in a Ren fair kind of scenario, and they're not going to do very well. Some will do very, very well. And others will just
I will never forget the one that came to an outdoor event to set up wearing stilettos.
Yeah.
She didn't last.
You never saw her again after that one fair.
Nope. So Ethan, you've officially been read by me now, and I honestly think that it would do really good for you to hook up with this one over here. Actually, I think the two of you would get on very, very well. Oh, Bree.
What?
But do you like? Yes, I love fairs.
Of course.
That's actually an inside joke between the two of us.
Oh, okay.
I introduced her to somebody at a fair one year. Like, we were working New Hampshire Fair, and literally the first thing he asks her was, "So, do you like fairs?" And we still joke about that because it's just like, well, I'm working here, so. And I just kind of was in the background going. But, let's see. How do you deal with people that ignore the gate rule? Harshly. Well, actually, it depends, because there are certain people that I have allowed to break the gate rule and become friends with me. I do have a few clients that I'm friends with on Facebook just because we really, really connected over our readings, and they wound up wanting follow-up. There's one girl that I'm friends with on Facebook that she might be watching this. She might not be. Hello, darling, if you're watching. But she does check in with me every so often, and it feels really good because it's very nice to see how much she's grown since I read her. As far as people that are ignoring the gate rule in a not good way, I'm not nice. I'm really harsh. I mean, there was that one man that wanted me to have sex with him for extra money after the reading, and you remember him.
Yeah.
Yeah, that went well, didn't it, dear?
You handled it rather well, I thought. I didn't have to come in with my machete and castrate him.
He also handled it well. That dude there.
Well, actually, this is true. This is very true.
Oh, clicked the wrong one. My bad. So yes, the gate rule for non-fair folks. I mean, it's not really a fair rule. It's more of an event rule at large, which is like in the fairgrounds, we are playing characters, and you know what we are not being ourselves, and you need to respect that we are actors until we choose to like be in the tent and drop what we drop. So there are people that sometimes break the gate rule and try to contact you outside of fairs, and that's not good unless permission has been given before, like the examples I just cited. Love you too, Nancy. Oh hey, it is 8:30 on the dot.
So it is. Does anybody have any last minute questions before we basically end this chat?
Because if nobody has any questions, there's one more point that I would like to make just in general.
Besides the other commercial, right?
Besides the other commercial. This isn't a commercial. This is more of just a point for when you go to psychics and receive psychic work. Remember that we are humans. We are not machines. We are fallible. We will make mistakes, and we also have feelings.
Mm-hmm.
We've had the gambit of really awesome people and really mean people. But at the end of the day, you get out of your reading what you put into it. If you're going to be hostile, I'm going to be hostile right back. If that's where you want to set the tone, then that is where the tone shall be. It's all on you.
It really is, and I tell people this all the time. Is the fact is it's all depends. Have an open mind, but yeah, you will get out of this exactly what you expect. So if you come in with the idea of this is bullshit, you're going to walk away saying that reading was bullshit. If you come in with the idea of I want to have some fun, I want to be entertained, you'll walk away kind of going, hey, that was pretty cool. It's exactly you'll get out exactly what you want. If you have a serious question and you need a serious answer, you will get one. It may not be the one that you want to hear, but you'll get you be careful what you wish for,
because it's not our job to tell you want to hear.
Right. It's right. We are nothing more than interpreters. I mean, especially so many of the times when I'm doing, especially my clairvoyant stuff, I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. I'm just basically saying things which I see, I feel, and to me, it has absolutely no relevance, but it's not supposed to. I'm not supposed to logically process it. I'm supposed to interpret and present it to you, and then you basically can connect the dots. Now, sometimes I can actually figure out and process it for help with the person, but sometimes it's just, why am I hearing this? Why am I seeing this? And sometimes I'll tell people, in my delivery, I will ask questions. I'm seeing this. What does this got to do with anything? Why am I hearing this noise? Why am I hearing this music right now? Whatever.
All right. So our last question shall be a fun, silly one.
Okay.
Thank you for the reference. What is the difference between a raven and a writing desk?
I guess I don't know that reference.
Is it Alice in Wonderland or is it Alice in Wonderland or Alice Through the Looking Glass? I forget which one that comes from, but it's one of those. So it's an excellent last minute question. Thank you for that. You're a doll. Okay.
Okay, so play the commercial one last time.
One last time, the commercial. So this is us. This is where you can find us at Lord Fafnir and Spawn Psychic Readers on Facebook, on YouTube. You can find us on Instagram at Fafnir and Spawn. That is our lovely website there. This is being streamed to our Facebook page and to our YouTube channel
page as well.
So please subscribe.
Yes, and we will be on again on a week from Thursday.
Yes, we will be doing
9 days from now.
We will be doing another one of our mini live reading sessions for free. Before our next paid event. So if you would like to have a mini reading, like then please join us. We had much fun last time, and
We did indeed.
And I'm looking forward to doing it again.
And like I was saying, but we're planning on doing a whole series of this for as long as you guys are willing to listen to us banter back and forth. Obviously, this one was just the two of us. Like I said, the next time we do this, we're going to have a guest on. And
yes, most of the Q&As after, we're going to have guests that do different things than we do.
Exactly.
And some things that you guys haven't heard of.
Indeed. So we have a little variety, shall we say. And then when we do our little freebie thing, we'll sometimes it'll be just the two of us.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes we'll have a guest third-party psychic as well. Like the first one we did, we had Stephanie Dazzaro
from Color for Your Spirit.
From Color for Your Spirit. She was on with that. And next one, I'm not quite sure if it's going to be just the two of us or if we're going to have a third party. We'll figure that out in the next 9 days. We'll keep it a surprise until then.
At the very least, you'll see us again. Aren't you just so excited?
So anyway, thank you for watching tonight.
Thank you very much.
And thank you for all your questions. And I hope this has been an interesting and enjoyable broadcast for you.
So on that note, merry meet,
merry part, and merry meet again. To the gates.